Alex, thanks for talking to us. You made a lot of changes, of course, but how did you see it all going for you?
Well, we made a lot of changes because we need to ask questions of every player in the squad, because we're going to need everybody this season to contribute. It's a competitive game. We wanted to win the game. We saw no reason why we couldn't win the game with the team that we selected. An awful lot of players tonight didn't perform to the levels, and they've answered some questions that we needed answering. That's not the end of the world, because we're 3 games in, but nonetheless, we want to win every game. We want to breed a culture where every game matters. Too many fell below those levels tonight, and ultimately there's 4 set plays that have led to all 4 goals. 3 in their favour, and then 1 that was at the other end of the pitch for us, and they've ended up breaking and scoring from that. So we've placed an awful lot of importance, as we've said to you over the last couple of weeks, on set plays and being dominant in both boxes. As dominant as we've been in the first 2 games in both boxes, you can flip back to completely the other end of the spectrum tonight. And for all the poor play and general play, because we didn't fire at all tonight, it's on both boxes with the set plays that has determined the game, and it's football sometimes.
You come out of the dressing room very early to talk to us. Is that the way that your style is? That you leave the players just to dwell on it a little bit, and then you have your say probably another day?
Yeah, my end of game debriefs, win, lose or draw, are always minimal, simply because at that end of the game players are tired, fatigued, and only so much information sinks in. So there's very little point in bombarding with lots and lots of messages tonight. That'll come on Thursday, that'll come on Friday, so that we can review what went wrong, how it went wrong. And I've said to the players in there, the most important lesson you can learn from a defeat of that manner is ensuring that you don't repeat it again, because if you do, then these sort of experiences aren't the sort of experiences you want to be on the end of very often. So it's a lesson learned. I have faith in those players and they're being humbled by it and working exceptionally hard to ensure that those types of mistakes aren't repeated in games in future.
It was a big experience for 1 or 2 of the younger lads coming in, of course, and that's something else that you've got to manage properly, isn't it, in terms of how you treat them as well, because they'll be deflated. A couple of them were off after 45 minutes.
Yeah, well, look, it's a learning curve for Charlie and Tabs. They deserve their opportunity. They've been excellent during pre-season. Obviously the challenge before the game, this was probably the most difficult selection we would have had all season, in terms of debating whether to go with an unchanged team and keeping that momentum going, or whether to obviously make the changes that we decided to do, to ask questions of players that haven't yet had enough football for us, because, as I say, we're going to need them throughout the season. We decided to go for the latter. If you're asking me whether I would do that again, I probably would, because there was lots of confidence and belief as a management team and those players that we fielded coming to Grimsby and being competitive in the game. Obviously, in hindsight, you can always look at if, buts and maybes, but that was the thought process behind it. And as I say, you live and die by your decisions. So, as I say, really disappointing night all round.
You would have wanted to get away with injury-free as well, because of where you are. Charlie Culkin got an injury in that second period. Was that a hamstring or?
I don't know, Graham. I don't know what injury it was or the extent of it, because I've not had a chance to speak to Steve or Charlie since it happened. So I'd have to find out more on that before I can give you more information.
So regroup, start again. The next game's the one that you go forward to.
Yeah, the biggest disappointment tonight, as I say, is the fact that we've had, how many did it came for supporters? 100 supporters, yeah. Which is unbelievable, and they've gone down, back down the A50 or the M62, whichever way they come, disappointed. So that's, you know, we've not given them what they deserve tonight. But it's not a disaster. It becomes a disaster if you allow these types of things to obviously continue. And we don't think, with this group who we've recruited in the summer, in terms of the characters and the culture and environment that we spoke about so often, that will be the case. This is the first big challenge that they've had to overcome in terms of disappointment, because it's all been going swimmingly, hasn't it, the first 2 games. There's optimism, belief from everybody, which is great. And we fully intend to make sure that momentum goes on that upward trajectory again on Saturday when we visit Salford.